Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, stocks fell as investors got increasingly jittery of the government's monthly payrolls report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 19 points or 0.2% to 10,661. The slump came on concerns over the employment data, which the market has been awaiting for clarity on the sustainability of economic recovery. The other data has been providing conflicting messages. A day before, reports showed an unexpected rise in initial jobless claims and mixed July same-store sales for retailers. Bill Webb, Chief Investment Officer at Gluskin Sheff, said, "We are concerned about the jobs outlook. We need to see initial jobless claims numbers below 400,000 on a sustainable basis to suggest that you're going to get enough jobs growth to generate organic wage growth." Adding to the market's worries, the Federal Reserve will hold a meeting next week where officials are expected to consider whether to use the Federal Reserve cash when its mortgage bond holdings mature to buy new mortgage or treasury bonds instead of allowing its portfolio to shrink gradually, as it is expected to do in the months ahead. Such a change would signal deepening concern about the economic outlook. In U.S. news, engineers began pumping heavy drilling mud into BP's stricken well in the Gulf of Mexico with the hope of sealing the well permanently, or at least revealing critical clues on how to kill it before the end of the month. The effort, known as Static Kill, comes just over 100 days after the well blew out, sinking the Deepwater Horizon platform, killing 11 drill workers, and spewing nearly 5 million barrels of crude into the Gulf of Mexico. Engineers made repeated efforts to contain or muzzle the well with little success until a tight cap was filled over it nearly 3 weeks ago. Engineers pumped mud weighing about 13.2 pounds per gallon at slow speeds from a surface vessel through the choke line into the blown-out preventer on top of the well. If all goes well, cement may be applied to fill the well over the next few days. Officials were guarded about declaring that the operation would bring a final resolution to a spill that has caused significant economic and environmental damage in the Gulf region and seriously damaged the reputation of the London-based oil giant. They say they can only be confident that the well will finally be plugged when one of two relief wells intercept the runaway well, allowing for a complete sealing of the well with cement. Engineers are cautious because they are not certain pumping mud from the top will plug the entire well pipe. If it only fills the center well pipe and not the area called the annulus between the inner piping and the outer casing, then a final cementing of the well may have to wait another few weeks. At the very least, engineers say that Static Kill will help pinpoint leaks that need to be filled once they complete drilling one of two relief wells. In international news, as an assistant attorney general for New York State, Christopher Wheeler used to spend most of his time arguing in courtrooms in New York City. Today, he works in a sprawling, unfinished planned suburb of New Delhi, where office buildings are sprouting from empty lots and dirt roads are fringed with fresh juice stalls and construction rubble. At Pangaea 3, a legal outsourcing firm, Mr. Wheeler manages a team of 110 Indian lawyers who do the grunt work traditionally assigned to young lawyers in the United States at a fraction of the cost. India's legal outsourcing industry has grown in recent years from an experimental endeavor to a small but mainstream part of the global business of law. Cash-conscious Wall Street banks, mining giants, insurance firms, and industrial conglomerates are hiring lawyers in India for document review, due diligence, contract management, and more. Now, to win new clients and to take on more sophisticated work, legal outsourcing firms in India are actively recruiting experienced lawyers from the West. And U.S. and British lawyers who might once have turned up their noses to the idea of moving to India or harbored an outright hostility of outsourcing legal work in principle are reevaluating the sector.
Ever wished you had sonic hearing? Well, now you can with the amazing Silversonic XL from Bell & Howell. It's lightweight and small, just like a cell phone ear adapter, and it fits your ear just as easily. Its IC chip technology lets you hear sounds from more than 30 yards away, amplifying them up to 50 decibels to give you crisp, clear sonic hearing. The Bell & Howell Silversonic XL is yours for only $19.95, so order now.
Call 1-800-230-7100 or send $19.95 to the address on your screen. That's 1-800-230-7100.
In entertainment news, as the ball took flight arcing toward center field, Alex Rodriguez jogged toward first base with his hands outstretched, his palms up. It's the universal body language for "what did I do?" But Rodriguez knew exactly what he had just done. His chase for 600 career home runs had lasted 12 games and 46 at-bats, but it was finally over. On the third anniversary of his 500th home run, Rodriguez reached his long-awaited milestone in the first inning of the Yankees game against the Blue Jays, connecting for a two-run homer off Sean Markham that landed in Monument Park in center field. The crowd at Yankee Stadium erupted as he rounded the bases, and when Rodriguez reached the plate, Derek Jeter was there waiting for him with an embrace. The Yankees' dugout emptied, and Nick Swisher reaching him first, and the rest of his teammates crowding around him, taking the celebration into the dugout. When Rodriguez battled again in the third inning with a runner on second and one out, many fans gave him a standing ovation before he grounded out. A week after turning 35, Rodriguez became the 7th and youngest player to enter the 600-homer club. Rodriguez's home run injected an uplifting moment into a difficult personal stretch for him, and one of the gloomiest times in club history. The Yankees are still mourning the deaths of Bob Shepard, George Steinbrenner, and Ralph Houck in a 10-day stretch. These men enriched the Yankees' tradition. Upholding that tradition has fallen to Rodriguez, whose accomplishment comes with an asterisk, the product of his admitted 3 years of steroid use with the Texas Rangers. He is also expected to be questioned by federal authorities in their investigation of a doctor based in Toronto. After a slow start, Rodriguez, who has 17 homers with a strong finish, can hit 30 for a 13th consecutive season. If he counted slugging 30 homers a year, Rodriguez would reach 700 in late 2013, surpass Babe Ruth in 2014, and overtake the career leader Barry Bonds with number 763 in 2016, sometime before his 41st birthday. In tech news, federal regulators have come to a settlement with Intel, the world's largest chip maker, in a lawsuit charging that the company strong-armed computer manufacturers into using its chips exclusively. The proposed settlement would prohibit the company from punishing computer makers for using competitors' chips or rewarding them for using Intel chips exclusively. The agreement with the Federal Trade Commission looks to settle yet another front in a long-running war over Intel's use of incentives and punishments. The settlement also forces Intel to modify agreements with chip rivals such as AMD to free them for outside partnerships and investments. The FTC brought the lawsuit against the company in December of 2009. Intel also has to tell software developers that its compiling software used to translate high-level code into instructions handled by the motherboard favors Intel processors over its rivals. The company must reimburse developers who wish to recompile using a computer that doesn't discriminate. However, the settlement includes no fines, and Intel did not admit to having violated any law. In fashion news, now that Target has come to Manhattan, savvy beauty shoppers no longer have to brave the weekend crowds at the chain's Atlantic Terminal Outpost in Brooklyn to score exclusive products like the Boots No. 7 skincare line. They can just take the No. 6 train to Harlem. Target's fashion collaborations with designers like Mossimo have made a bigger impression than its beauty collaborations. But the store's beauty exclusives do inspire feverish enthusiasm among women who want designer makeup and skincare at prices that don't hit Sephora highs. And Target is the only American store that sells products from Boot, the British pharmacy, including its cult favorite, the No. 7 serums that aim to soften unsightly lines. Boots came to the United States through the Target chain in 2007, and according to the company, business has been brisk. In July of 2009, for example, a $23 bottle of No. 7 Protect and Perfect Intense Beauty Serum was sold nationwide every 8 seconds. This month, the likelihood of a satisfying haul of Boots No. 7, as well as Target's solid roster of beauty exclusives, is worth a visit to the Harlem store. Target now has 9 stores in New York City. In green news, Australian researchers examining environmental restoration projects have found that reforesting damaged rainforests captures carbon more efficiently than softwood industrial monoculture plantations, or big tree farms as they're called. They're planted usually with a single species. The research was published in Ecological Management and Restoration. It throws a wrench into the long-held belief that monoculture plantations can capture more carbon than our replanted forest. Great news for fans of biodiversity, except for one problem. Reforestation may be more effective, but it also costs more. Monoculture plantations are grown in Australia as a source of resources, including timber and rubber. But some ecologists aren't exactly thrilled with these resource farms, calling the plantations a green desert, evoking images of a uniform wave of green that seems contrary to the variations in natural forests. The new research contradicts policy that has maintained that monoculture plantations can sequester more carbon than reforested forests. While the Australian government's National Carbon Accounting Toolbox indicates monoculture plantations sequester an estimated 40% more carbon than reforestation plantings in northern Australia, researchers found the reverse to be true. The researchers found that reforested rainforests store on average 106 tons of carbon per hectare, 42% more than the 62 tons per hectare stored in monoculture plantations of native conifers. The replanted rainforest also stored about 19% more carbon than mixed-species timber plantations, which on average stored 86 tons of carbon per hectare. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
The makeup in today's program is provided by MAC Cosmetics.